Hello, happy Tuesday. Good afternoon. I hope you're in a really wonderful sunny spot like I am. I feel like a really happy, lazy cat right now. So I'm kind of just moving my body around to get the sun as much as I can. Just like every other week before this one, just look around and make sure you're in a safe space. No books or cats or cords. We don't want to trip over anything. So just check that your space is free of clutter. And then you can find either a seated, comfortable shape, or you could start lying on your back. And we'll spend the first, 5 to 10 minutes getting grounded, checking in with ourselves, and doing some awareness meditation. All right. So we'll give ourselves a little time to settle. And then as you find your shape, that slow, meaningful transition, just blending awareness down into the earth. Feeling the surface beneath us, noticing how our bodies connect to that surface. Just bringing warmth and kindness and curiosity to our practice. You might find it helpful to use your body as an anchor here for your practice. Feeling your body and adding the attention to your breathing. Physical body finding some stillness, some ease, some calm. Blending your attention to your breathing. It's that gentle reminder that our minds really like to wander. And so if your mind goes off and wanders, the practice is bringing your mind back with kindness, back to your body, breathing. Body as an anchor, body being held by the ground, by the earth beneath you. With curiosity and kindness, practicing feeling your breath. What does it feel like to be in your body with an inhale? What does it feel like in your body to feel an exhale, letting the breath go? Your mind is is wandering with curiosity. The practice of bringing the mind back to the body, breathing. If your mind is really busy today, you might find it helpful to say inhale, to say exhale. Remembering it's a practice. As much about focusing and attention as it is about being kind and non-judgmental and friendly and loving towards ourselves. We'll take a few moments here in silence, listening, feeling, practicing whole body breathing. And noticing moment to moment breath time experience. Let's take about 5 more rounds of breath here. And then maybe you're sitting in a chair or on a cushion, maybe you're lying down. Let's just bring some attention to the back side, the posterior side of our bodies. And so practicing feeling what we can't see can be so very helpful. And so just starting with the back of your skull. If you're on the ground, lying down, letting the back of the skull just release in and down towards the floor. If you're sitting, you might let your head release back. The ears are releasing back a little more in line with your shoulders. This might help bring awareness to your neck if you tend to hold a lot of tightness or tension in your neck. And maybe feel a little more ease as the shoulders release down, the collarbones can open. You might feel a little heavier or more grounded across the back of the shoulders. Down the back of the arms. Noticing your spine. This neutral S-curve shape of your spine. With some breath awareness, bringing that breath awareness right up into the middle of your shoulder blades. So every one of us is going to have a little different technique to feel our shoulder blades. So if you're on the ground or you're sitting, you might start to move your shoulders around a little bit, just to feel those scapula, those shoulder blades move a little bit. And like, yeah, I feel those shoulder blades. And then if we go right in the middle of those shoulder blades, the back of your heart. This is often a place of tension and tightness for so many of us. So just starting by locating this part of your body physically. And then, as silly as it might sound, let's imagine your heart were like a lung. And you can breathe. And just letting your heart feel the sensations of your breathing. Let's take about 5 breaths. You feel a little more length and a little more space in that upper back space between the shoulder blades. Right, and then taking 2 full exhales, let's prioritize your exhale. Great, and then we're all going to transition onto our backs or into our chairs. So if you're sitting in your chair, you're going to scoot to the edge of the chair. And like the last 3 weeks before this one, we're going to start with dead bug. All right, so we're lying on our backs or sitting in our chairs. You're going to take and bend your knees and bring your arms up towards the ceiling. And then bringing that awareness back into the back of your heart, right between your shoulder blades. You might even imagine your heart were anchoring down. And we're just going to start a little bit differently in this dead bug. We're going to take your arms out wide towards the floor. And then we're going to exhale, pull the arms back up towards the ceiling. And as you move the arms, you might start to feel the arms connecting into your shoulder blades moving. And trying to keep an awareness of width and release in your middle upper back there, back of the heart. So moving your arms from the feelings of your breath. Okay, let's do 3 more. If you're sitting in the chair, right, the arms are going wide out like a T, and then drawing back out in front of you. Good. Next time your arms are up towards the ceiling or out in front of you, we're going to pause. If you're lying down, nice strong arms, we're going to bring your knees up over your hips and straighten your legs towards the ceiling. Bending your knees, bending your elbows, then practicing your dead bug, left leg, right arm. Inhale, going up. Exhale, bending. Side to side with your breath. It'll be a little more challenging, right? To really follow your breath. Feel the breath. And then the movement. And 1 more on each side. And then all the limbs come back up towards the ceiling. Right, resetting. Right, limbs nice and heavy in the back of those sockets. We inhale, go wide. Exhale, come back to the ceiling. Okay. You can do some symmetrical. And then if you want to break it into contralateral, right? Opposite arm, opposite leg. Going out and coming back in. Controlled, concentrated movements. Continuing in your dead bug like that. You've probably modified and figured it out if you're in your chair, right? You can take your feet wide, right arm, left leg can lift. We'll do a few more wherever you are, right? If you get tired or you lose concentration, those are both really good cues to just stop and rest for a little bit. Practicing embodiment, trying to stay present with your breath, mindful, attentive, warm and kind as you move the body. And slowing it down, finishing this round, and then bringing all the limbs down to the floor. Or sitting in your chair. Pause in one of these shapes. We'll take about 5 breaths, doing a short yet very meaningful body scan. So bringing your attention, breath, back into your body. What do you feel? What do you notice? And with your next exhale, we're all going to figure out how to come all the way on up to standing. So you can definitely stay in your chair. You can take your feet out wide here, right? If you're going to come on up to standing, we're going to start with sumo just to wake up hips, knees, and ankles. Okay. So if we come back, right, to alignment, just give yourself a moment to feel your feet. Right, how your feet provide support, feet connect to legs, legs connect to pelvis. Okay, and then we're going to go up and down with your breathing. So going down, inhale, coming up. Good. Exhale, going down. Inhale, coming up. Great. If you need the support of the chair, you can walk behind your chair and hold on to the back of your chair. If you're moving here and you want a little more challenge, lift your heels just a piece of paper. Right? Remember, right, really honor your knees. Maybe you're just bending a little bit. Just because I'm going low doesn't mean that's what you're doing. Let's do about 3 more. Again, if you get bored or your mind drifts off, you lose concentration, that's your cue to stop, pause, and breathe. Okay. Last one. And then we're going to all step our feet together. We'll pause in standing mountain, reconnect to the ground. Coming back to your grounding, riding the wave, 3 breaths. Full exhale, let all the breath out. So we're going to do a handful of balancing poses and some lunges. So if you want to use your chair for balance or you need to walk over and grab a wall, that would be fabulous. Okay, so you can turn your chair around. I'm going to just go sideways so you can see, right? We're going to just stand, feet about as wide as your hips, right? And we're going to take a moment just to feel, right, the feet underneath us, to feel your legs underneath you, and to really get a little more centered down, right, in that place of the center of gravity. So for most of us, that's down in that lower belly area, okay? So we really want to stay connected through here. Shoulders can rest, right? Neck can be a little like easier feeling, right? Eyes soft. And we're just going to take a couple breaths, noticing our breath, creating your own baseline, okay? So when you find your baseline, right, hold on to your chair if you need to. We're just going to start by picking up your right heel. This is more about noticing little subtle shifts in our body than actually doing a big giant balance, okay? So was there a little shift? And if there was, do you come back to baseline? Right? Then you can stay here, or if you want a little more challenge, you can lift your right foot, lift your right knee, pause, take a couple of breaths. Is your breath changing? My heart rate's going a little faster. Is your heart rate going a little faster? Right? I felt like I was gonna fall. Right? Noticing what you notice. It's all about awareness, how we respond to that awareness. And then we put the foot down and we recenter. We reground. We refine that middle place, that baseline. Right? Then when you feel supported and you're ready to go, heel lifts. Maybe that's enough. Maybe your left knee lifts. Right? It's not about how high we lift the knee today. Be quiet and just let you have a moment to be curious, to pay attention. How do you respond to your balance? Okay. And then when you're ready, we're going to put that left foot down. And we're going to add on, okay? So I'll give you the side view, okay? You're going to lift up your right heel again. Okay, maybe this is enough. Maybe you're holding onto the chair. Maybe you lift your right foot up off the ground a little bit. Right? And then maybe you start to swing your leg a little bit. Right? And as you swing your leg a little bit, right, trying to really keep your pelvis steady. Working on keeping your spine steady. So your upper body's a little more like a tabletop or a plank. We want a lot of movement in the low belly or the low back, right? So maybe you're just swinging that knee or that foot a little bit. You can always have it on the floor and swing it and drag it. Then I'll be quiet and you can notice and feel and pay attention. What's changing, maybe what's staying the same. And then we're going to balance wherever your leg lands most natural, hang out. If you want more challenge, can you stay really strong through your torso, through your abdominals, maybe taking your arms up. If having both arms up is too much, right, you can always bring one arm to the chair or one arm down. You can always bring both arms down. And then putting that right foot down. Whew. Kind of shaking that out. Refinding your standing baseline. You might do a short, meaningful body scan, checking things out, feeling things. What's your breath feel like? What do your bones feel like? Physical body connecting, right, to mental and breath. Maybe lifting up your left heel. You're going at your very own pace. Right? So it's really about checking in. If you feel wobbly, right, noticing your response to feeling wobbly. And then if you want a little more, right, you're going to swing your leg. Really trying to hold that pelvis set. Maybe noticing how much control and concentration, you need to have to stabilize your pelvis, to hold your ribs and shoulders stable. Okay. Strong, efficient movement. One side of your body is really stabilizing so the other side can move with strength and efficiency. And finding your balance. Maybe it helps to take an exhale to find a little deeper sense of grounding. And then deciding, right, challenging yourself, where do you put your arms? Maybe if the arms are up, right, it's a little too much. Taking the arms might have added tension to your neck or your jaw. You might take your arms down. Everyone's gonna find their balance. We're gonna take about 3, 4, or 5 more breaths. Noticing your response to your wobble. And then putting your left foot down, shaking things out. Good. So you're gonna add on to that, all right? So I'm gonna take a high lunge, okay? So definitely hold on to your chair if you need. Right foot is gonna lift up a little bit. And we're gonna step your right foot way back behind you. Okay, now you're gonna define what way back is, okay? So we wanna come to a place where we're really supported. You're resetting, right, the conditions to balance, right? You can bring your hands to your pelvis. And we're gonna try and lift the front of your pelvis up, okay? So I want the front of the pelvis to lift up. I'm gonna take this right thigh bone and push it back, okay? So your thigh bone is different than your pelvis. So find the pelvis, lift it up and push that thigh bone back. It's gonna be a little more challenging, hands on your hips. Maybe bending your left knee a little bit. Okay. So you might feel a lot more weight out on that front leg. So again, right, it's about your attention and your awareness. You might slide back a little bit, looking to find equal weight on both legs. And then, right, maybe fingertips come together in front of your chest. Maybe arms come up. Everybody finds, right, a balance where they can respond, right, with a little bit more grounding presence. We'll take 3 breaths wherever you might be. And then we're going to step both feet together. Stand in your standing mountain. If you're tired and you have a chair, sit down. We'll take 5 breaths, just giving yourself a moment. Reconnect. 5 breath, meaningful body scan. And when you're ready, we're going to switch sides. Okay. I'm going to pick up your opposite foot, your left heel. And then pick up your left knee when you're ready. Right? If you go slow, you can really feel, right, the shifts, the transitions. You're going to find your high lunge. Just setting up. Want to stay grounded. Want to stay in control. And pausing right here. Lifting up through the front of the pelvis. Take your left thigh bone back. Make sure your left heel's lifted. Maybe your fingertips come together. Right? Maybe your arms come up. Wherever you are, drawing that awareness back in with curiosity. How do you respond to 3 breaths? And after 3 breaths, stepping your feet together, kind of shaking it up. All right, so we can go a little quicker now, right? All right, so right heel's gonna lift up. Right knee might come up off the floor. I'm gonna find that high lunge again. Right foot's gonna step back. Using your chair if you need to. Okay. Lifting up through the front of your pelvis. Okay, so just to your capacity, let your left knee bend a little bit. Okay. Where's your center of gravity? Maybe your arms come up. Okay. If that's a little too much, fingertips together at your chest. Right, and if that's too much, bring them to your hips. Now we're going to tip forward from the pelvis, right? So you're going to tip from the pelvis, head comes last. From the pelvis, coming back up. 2 more times. Might look out, right? The ground in front of you. Left knee straight out over your left toes. Last one, you might be ahead of me. If you're on your last one, third one, you're gonna hold it there. Remember, your back heel's lifted. Take 2 breaths. If your arms are out in front of you, that's gonna be the most challenging. And then exhale, come back up. Step your feet together. Shake things out. Find your standing baseline. Rest for a couple of breaths, check in. Right? You can do a short, meaningful body scan. And then when you're ready, right? Left heel, left knee steps back. Back heel stays lifted the whole time. Okay, finding that center of gravity. Shoulders, neck, eyes, jaw, what's going on? Maybe hands at your hips, maybe fingertips at your chest, maybe arms overhead. 3 times, tipping and coming back up. Maybe you just tip a little tiny bit, that's okay. Try and have it come from the pelvis. Pelvic crest, tip forward first. Head comes last. Right knee over your right toes. Maybe you're ahead of me. You're on that third one. You can hold it for a couple of breaths. You can look out in front of you, down towards the floor. And then come on up and step both feet together. Shake things out a little bit. Find your standing baseline. All right, I'm gonna add a brand new challenge, okay? So remembering how we started and we had that awareness for this middle heart space back here, right between your shoulder blades. I'm gonna bring that attention, some breath, some awareness right back there, okay? So what happens to that space, oftentimes when we're balancing, right? Maybe you caught yourself, you might push your chest forward like this, right? So if we're pushing our chest forward like this, and I don't know if you can see very well, when I push my chest forward, my shoulder blades pinch together, right? And I get kind of a crabby little feeling there. It's really tight, doesn't feel so good. Ooh. So I'm gonna try not to do that in my balance this time. If you want that challenge, you can try that too, okay? So here we go. I'm gonna pick up your right knee and step your right leg all the way back and find that high lunge. Use your chair. Then when you find your high lunge, just pause for a moment, catch your breath. Back heel's lifted. Pause, breathe. What do you feel in the back of your shoulders, the back of your ribs? What do you feel when you take a deep breath? Maybe you stay right here. Maybe you bring your hands to your pelvis, and maybe you're starting to tip. Okay, the new challenge, right, as you tip, is to shift your weight forward a little bit and come up onto the back of your toes, and then maybe lift the back of your right leg up a little bit. Okay, maybe, right, you lift an inch. Maybe you lift a little higher. Maybe you're shaking, 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 shaking. How do you respond to the shaking? Take a deep breath. And then exhale. Come back to standing. Shake that one out. All right, so now you know what's coming on the other side, so that'll either make it easier or harder. But just remember, right, your second side is a whole new story, okay? So line yourself up, find your standing neutral, find your grounding, Left heel, left knee. Step on back. Pause and find your stability. Hands to your pelvis. Tipping over. Remember the back of your heart. Right? I just said that because I noticed in my own body, I started to pinch my shoulder blades. So maybe you didn't do that, right? We're all really different. Check that you're not pushing your chest forward. And then if you want, right, you're gonna bring your weight forward. You can always keep your toes down, or maybe starting to lift your foot up a little bit, right? Or maybe it's a lot like a lever. Try to keep the back of your hips level. How do you respond to the shake? My heart rate's going faster. How do you respond to a faster heart rate? And then when you're ready, exhale. Come on up. Oh, put both feet down and shake things out. Great, and then we'll walk to the back of your mat. If you have a chair, right, you can have a seat in your chair and just take a break if you want. We're gonna do 2 sun salutations, okay? So you can also face your chair and do your sun salutations at your chair, all right? So we're gonna start the sun salutation at the back of the chair, or the back of the mat, right? So shake it out. Inhale, take your arms up. Full body stretch. Exhale, bend your knees, fold forward. Inhale, lift your shoulders. Lift up, look out. Exhale, fold, bend your knees as much as you need. And then you're gonna walk your hands out to the front of your mat. Choose, right? Downward facing dog or tabletop or child's pose, and take 5 breaths. Just let your body breathe for you in these 5 breaths. Next exhale, let all the air out. If you're in child's pose, come back to tabletop. And then if you're in down dog, we're gonna walk your hands back to your feet. If you're in tabletop, just slowly figure out how to come all the way on up to standing. So each one of us has our own way to come all the way on up. Take a full body stretch. Arms come down by your side. Great, when you're at the back of your mat and you're in standing, a quick 5 breath, meaningful body scan. So again, what do you notice? What do you feel? With curiosity, kindness, warmth. Okay, one more sun salutation. I'll do this one at the chair for those of you using a chair. Inhale, take a full body stretch, lifting up. Exhale, fold forward. If you're using a chair, bring your hands onto the chair. Right? Folding forward. Inhale, chest lifts, armpits lift. You can look out in front of you a little bit. Exhale, fold. Walking your hands out, 1, 2, 3, 4, downward facing dog or tabletop. If you're at the chair, you step your feet back. Finding either standing table at a chair on the earth. Maybe you're in tabletop or child's pose. Everyone settles down into the earth, feeling and listening to 5 breaths. Noticing the sounds of your next 2 exhales. And then when you feel the next exhale, right, if you're in downward facing dog, you'll bend your knees and come to table. If you're in down dog at your chair, you're just gonna come up and we're all gonna find our way to a comfortable seated shape. So you can sit in your chair, you can sit crisscross applesauce, right? If it's more comfortable, you can let your feet come out in front of you. Hands are just gonna drop wherever they drop naturally and easily. I'm gonna take a couple moments to re-anchor and ground ourselves into the earth. And as you take an exhale, it's very gentle, slow and easy twist to the right. Just finding your twist to the right, take 3 breaths. Listening to your next exhale, we'll spin back to center. And then an easy, gentle twist to the left. And listen when you feel and hear your next exhale. Come back to center. And take your arms out wide. We're just going to cross your arms and give yourself a hug. And then wherever your hands land, right? You might land back, you might feel your shoulder blade there, right? They might land, right, a little more on your side body or in your armpits. I'm just gonna pause and see if we can't feel the connection of your breath underneath your hands. What do you feel underneath your hands when you take an inhale? What do you feel underneath your hands when you exhale? And then either staying right here, or if you prefer, you can lie all the way back. You could take a full body stretch. We'll take the last few minutes here to relax. Okay, so it's easier for you to relax in sitting, taking your hands down to your knees. Doing that, if you're in a chair, you can sit back, maybe outstretch your legs out in front of you. If you choose to lie all the way down, maybe you put your mat in the sunshine. If there's some favorite easy light stretches you'd like to do, maybe doing some light, easy stretching. Just coming back into that practice of embodiment. Practicing being in our bodies. Just taking the next couple minutes to set up the conditions for the rest of the day. What can you do in the next couple of minutes to help make your day feel more grounded and more balanced? Just noticing your body breathing. What does it feel like here to take an easy, light inhale? What does it feel like to take an easy, long exhale? And when you feel the next exhale, just slowly starting some really simple, easy movements. And that might be wiggling your fingers and your toes or rolling your wrists around, pointing and flexing in your ankles. Might feel really good taking a full body stretch. If you're on your back, it might feel really nice to draw your knees into your chest. And we'll just slowly roll all the way on up to sitting. And then as we come on up to sitting, just finding a nice, comfortable sit. We'll take the last few moments of our practice together as gratitude practice. So thinking and feeling of 2 or 3 things that we're extremely grateful for. Feeling gratitude, taking a breath for each one. And if you'd like to join your hands, then joining your hands. Thank you all so much for logging in and coming back for class today. Namaste. Thanks for taking care of yourselves and practicing. All of our practices make the world a sweeter space.